Hello friends, welcome to the today's tutorial. Today we're gonna see how to create a VM in Hyper-V. Okay, so in order to create a VM in a Hyper-V, there are the two prerequisites that we need to do. So the one is the Hyper-V role should be installed. So either it can be your laptop or a desktop or a server, whatever might be you are using. If you're having a Windows OS, Windows 10, desktop layer also fine. Even if it is a server OS also fine. We need to install the Hyper-V roles. Okay. So how to install the Hyper-V roles? So I already made a video. You can I'll be mentioning it in the description as well. If you want, you can refer that. The second one would be OS image file. It's nothing but a ISO, which consists of the OS bootable image. Okay. For this also, I created a video. You can refer the video. So yeah, let's quickly open a Hyper-V and I'll show you how to create a VM. So before that, I would like to show instead of the default path, I'll be creating the Hyper-V in the D drive. Okay, so I'm just creating a Hyper-V lab as a folder. So inside that I have created a folder called ISO files where I have kept my ISO which I downloaded in the previous video. Fine. So just click on start menu, and if the Hyper-V role is installed, once you search with the Hyper-V, the Hyper-V manager will be there. So once you open the Hyper-V manager, it will be displayed like this. Okay, here you can see Hyper-V manager, and beside that this is nothing but the host. So every Hyper-V manager, we can manage the number of hosts, whether it should be this particular PC, this particular base mission. Let's take the JCReady1 is the base mission which I'm using. So if you see the host name, just open a command prompt and type host name. Here you can see the JCReady1 is nothing but the host name of my base mission. Okay, that's the reason this is displaying here. If you want to connect a remote base mission, if the communication is there, you can straight away and use this connect to server. There you need to specify the computer. Here you have to specify another computer which should be in the same network. Okay, then you can able to click OK, and that will be displayed as the second one, so that you can manage a number of base missions from this console itself. Okay, so let's move into our topic. To create a VM, here you can see the options, right? So these are all the actions that we can perform on the Hyper-V manager. So one is a quick create, and another one is the new option. Here you can create a virtual machine, hard disk, and the floppy disk. So I suggest you to go with the new and go with the virtual machine, so that you can see the each and every step. So let's click on the virtual machine here. So this is nothing but basic information that is going to give you to configure the Hyper-V virtual machine, what are the steps that you need to follow. It's nothing but the default values you can select. Just click on next. So here the name, what is the name that you would like to give to your virtual machine? So in my case, I would like to create an Active Directory server. So I'll mention it as AD server. Yeah. And the path that will be defaultly taking is the program data Microsoft Windows Hyper-V. I don't want to store the virtual machine data in this C drive. So that is the reason if you check this box, you'll be getting an option to change this path. So now I would like to go to D drive, where I already created a Hyper-V lab, right? So inside this, I would like to create a separate folder for the AD server. So let's create a folder. Let's keep it AD server. Okay, just select the folder. So now the path being changed to D drive, Hyper-V lab, AD server. So whatever the VM related files will be there, that will be stored on this particular path. Just click next. So here we do have the two types of generations of the virtual machines. The generation 1 is a very old one that will be supporting on the older versions 2008. It's nothing but the disk type, whatever the disk type that we are using, it depends upon the generation 1, generation 2. So I always suggest, as you're using the latest operating system, so let's select the generations 2, so that the XKZ device can also be used as a bootable disk. Okay, you can quickly go through Google, so that the generation 1 and generation 2 is in order to get the brief difference. Okay, just click on next. Here you need to specify the RAM, how much RAM you would like to specify. So for my case, I would like to give it the 4 GB. So 4 into 1024, so 4096, right? So let's specify the 4096. So unique use dynamic memory for this virtual machine. So once you check this dynamic memory, so currently we are using a base mission, right? In the production infrastructure, you should not check this box. Strongly recommended. So, but for the testing lab, you can use the dynamic memory so that whenever the operating system would require more memory, that will use the base mission memory, or else that will be limited to this 4 GB. If you don't check this, that will be completely blocked for this virtual machine. But I don't want to block the complete 4 GB for this virtual machine. Whenever it is required, that can use that 4 GB. But in production servers, so why we should not recommend is we do have the multiple VMs, right? So it should end up with the VM performance issue. That's the reason. So better to not to check the dynamic memory in the production environment. But these are for the testing. That's fine. You can check that box. Just click on next. So connectivity part we'll see later. So for that we need to create a virtual switch, right? So this time point, let's leave it like that. Click on next. So here we need to create a virtual disk. So yeah, for a VM you require a C drive, right? So it's nothing but we are creating a C drive. And as I told you, we already changed the path to Hyper-V Labs and the AD server. So inside the AD server, again, that is created a folder called AD server and virtual disks. Inside this virtual disk, the particular disk will be mentioning. It's nothing but a C drive. If you want to specify a C drive limit, you can increase and decrease. You can specify it here. So for me, for testing purpose, I'm just keeping 80 GB so that the 80 GB C drive will be created by default. Click on next. So here two options will be there: install operating system later, or else you can select this option and you can straight away map the bootable image. Okay, I'll show you, like, even if you map it here, even later also you can map it. So let's leave it like the default. We'll mount it another time. This is the summary what you have done. The VM name which you are given as the AD server. Type of generation is a generation 2 virtual machine that you selected, and the memory we have allocated 4 GB. Network status is not connected. Hard disk, we have created a hard disk for the C drive with the 80 GB. So where it is storing, that is mentioned here. Here you can see the dynamically expanding. If you don't check this dynamically expanding, once you created a VM, you won't be able to expand that disk or shrink that disk. Okay. And the last one is the operating system will be installed at a later time. As we selected, we haven't mounted any IS at this point of time. Just click on finish. Here you can see the virtual machine is already created, and the state you can see it's in off state. Here you haven't gone through that CPU related things, right? We have assigned the memory, but where we assign the CPU, by default in Hyper-V, it will take one CPU. Okay. So in order to change that, you need to go to the settings. So if you see the virtual processor, how much? It's only one processor. So if you want to change that, you can change that. So for my case, I would like to make it 4. And if you just expand this, if you have the multiple virtual base missions, base missions, then if you'd like to migrate a VM from one base mission to other base mission, so you should mandatorily check this migrate a physical computer with a different processor version. So if you don't check this box, let's take I have the processor of Intel so-and-so version, and the other base mission is having some AMD. You won't be able to migrate the virtual machine if you don't check this box. And once a VM is powered on, you won't be getting this option. So again, you need to power out the virtual machine, and you have to, in order to select this option. So in order to, as a best practice, I suggest always check this box. If it is a different base mission, or if it's not a different base mission, also if you check that box, nothing will wrong in that, right? Okay. And the NUMA settings, so we'll discuss in details about the NUMA settings in the later topics. At this point of time, we can just skip that. And here we have selected the generation 2. That's the reason it is showing the SCSI disk, or else you will be getting the generation 1, then IDE disk will be there. That is the C drive will be booted with the only IDE disk. As the generation 2 that can support the SCSI as a bootable. Okay. And the name you can see integration services. So what are the in VMware we do have the VMware tools, right? For Hyper-V we will be having the integration services. So what are the things that you would like to integrate the services with the Hyper-V based mission? You can check. If you don't want the time synchronization, if you have the AD or NTP, you can just remove this. But as a testing lab, so let it be. And the checkpoints, so where you would like to store the checkpoints. Let us take, if I created a VM, and during the later point of time, if I would like to do some maintenance or make some changes for a backup purpose, if I take a checkpoint, where you supposed to store the checkpoint. So this is where the location that is default taken, as we specified the D drive. If you don't specify the D drive, if you keep it as a local storage as a C drive default path, everything will be stored on the default path. So that is the reason. Even the page file you can see. Yeah, so that's it, guys. This is the basic settings that you can perform on a virtual machine. So as this is in powered off state, we are getting every option here. But in case if VM is turned on, you won't be getting that option. But in order to turn on the VM, we haven't mounted any hard disk, right? So let's do one thing. Let's add a hardware. No, let's add a DVD drive. Here you can see the DVD drive is selected. Now we'd like to mount the ISO file. So we already copied ISO to the Hyper-V Labs in ISO folder, right? So I'm just mounting this particular, I'm just mapping this particular ISO to this. You see the Hyper-V Labs ISO files and inside the ISO. Just click on apply. Okay, now you just right click and start the VM. Here you can see the summary and the memory and the network parameters. Network we haven't assigned anything, so it won't show. Let's connect. Okay, so it's not yet detected the hard disk since. Let me take a reboot. Here you will be having the multiple options in the console itself. Here you can reset is nothing but a restarting a server. This is the pause state, and this is the save state, and this is the shutdown, and this is the turn off. Shutdown is nothing but OS layer. Pause lines, save means the state will be saved like that, it will be freeze. Even pause and save would be same. You can see. Okay, let me reset. Now it's booting. So you just need to enter any keyboard button so that that will pick it from the CD drive. Now you can just click next, install. So now the installation will start. So I'll be pausing this video till the installation is going to complete. So I'll go into the desktop experience standard evolution edition. So if you select that evolution only, that will be default, will be installing the core. So I would like to go with the custom. So as we allocated 80 GB, right? So by default that will be displayed here. If you want again make a partition out of it, you can make that. But 80 GB would be required for the operating system, so I'll be keeping like that order. Yeah, it's going to take a while, guys. So once the installation is completed, again I'll resume the video so that we can continue the session. Yeah, so now the installation part is almost done. So VM is getting ready. I just restarted and it's getting ready. Okay, till the VM is getting ready, we'll see. So what are the things that we need to configure on this VM? And post that we can configure your virtual switch on the Hyper-V based machine, and we'll add a network to the VM. So once this part is completed, I'll resume this video. Yeah, so once the VM is booted, so you will able to see this such kind of screen, so where you can set a password for your user ID. So by default that will take an administrator. You can't change the administrator at this point of time, but in later point of time you can change that. So I'm just giving a password and retype the password. Click finish. So yeah, here you go. Your VM is ready, but currently we are accessing from the console, right? Let me minimize this. Yeah, this is the console of this VM. Okay, so here you can see that as it is set to a dynamic, currently it took only the 928 MB. Okay, so that is where that is set as the dynamic. So the rest of the thing, wherever the base machine would be required, that will be consumed. So till the maximum 4 GB this VM can pull. Okay, Let me show you like what are the things that you can do it at the console level. So here the file will be having the settings. These settings is nothing but again the VM settings which are getting on the once you right click on the VM. Okay, there is no additional things out of it. And if you click on the actions, so there are the set of settings which are displayed here in the like the dashboard. So the same settings will be there in the action. This is the control alt delete button. VM start, it will be graded out as it's already started. So the rest of the things will be same. Turn off, shutdown, save, pause, reset, checkpoint, revert, share. Okay. And the media you can mount the disk. So earlier we have mounted the ISO disk, right? Where you can see the ISO disk. If you just click on this, this will be eject on this VM. So as it is already installed, we don't require. I'm just exiting. Once you remove, you won't be able to see nothing here. Okay. Go to insert, and you can select it. Click on insert, you can select it. And clipboard where you can use in the VMware, you can't paste the password, right? But in Hyper-V, you can take the password even if this is super critical. You can paste it on a VM. So let me show you. Let me show you in details in the later parts. Okay, this is the zoom. What is the zoom level that you can set for the console? So the full screen mode, control alt break also you can use. So if you want to exit from the full screen, again you just need to enter the escape button. Okay, help consists of nothing. This is like the overview, the basic stuff that you can get it. Okay, so in order to log into a VM, you need to give the control alt delete. Here you can give it in a two ways. If you want to give it from your base mission and your keypad, you need to enter control alt end. That will give you the remote command for the control alt delete for this VM. Okay, or else there is a predefined keys. You can just click on this also. That will be given a control alt delete. See, yeah, the prompt will be appear. I'm just entering the password. Even you can use these VMs for testing purpose. So yeah, if the base mission whatever the base mission of the laptop, if you're having some kind of i5 with a 500 GB SSD would be required, because usually the process and memory point of time most of the laptops are covering. Only the lag that we can observe is in terms of the disk. Okay, if it is the SSD, even you can barely run the 2 to 3 VMs easily on your laptop as well. Okay, the RAM persist. So now we are onto the VM. Okay, so but we haven't connected any network for this, so it won't show any IP. So let me give you. So I created a VM with ISO. So the default, and we have installed the Evolution Edition, right? We can see it in the Evolution Edition. So once the evolution expired, so this will be no longer function. If you want to convert, I'll be creating a few more VMs, videos, how to convert evolution edition into a standard array data center, when we can convert this. Okay. So that's it, guys. And the device name you can change it. So by default, what it is showing here is I just using my i5 processor. Okay, I created this VM on my laptop, which is running with the i5 processor. That's the reason this is showing the CPU as the i5 processor. Whatever the CPU is there on the base mission, that will be displayed for the VM. Okay, and whereas the RAM, my laptop consists of the 16 gigs of RAM, but I have given the limit of the 4 GB. That's the reason this is showing only 4 GB. Okay. So yeah, let me minimize this console and let me show you how to create a virtual switch. So far we haven't connected any network for this mission, right? So in order to create a virtual network, so first we have to go to these settings. Here you can see the virtual switch manager. Just click on this. Now there are the three options we have: external, internal, and private. Now I would like to create an external switch so that this particular VM can communicate from the outside. Okay, and what is an internal? If you have the multiple VMs, within the VMs, if you want, and the base mission, if you want a communication, that will be within the base mission and the VMs you can get. That is an internal. Private, it's again limited to the specific VMs. So whatever the private that you are creating, it's not even communicate with the other base mission as well as the other VMs if it is in the different switch. Okay, So let me create an external virtual switch. Just click on external virtual switch. So by default that will pick the NICs. Okay. So here I would like to use my Wi-Fi card, or you can use your Ethernet port as your wish. But I am connected to Wi-Fi. I'm just using Wi-Fi. Here, allow management operating system to share the network adapter, so that this particular checkbox will be sharing through the network adapter. Okay, so that this particular NIC, whatever residing on the base mission, that will be shared across the missions, so that the other missions may also get the communication. So you just, this is just a pop-up. If you're creating on a live base mission, that will be just flip, and that will come back again. So no need to worry about that. Just click on S. So once it's done, the virtual switch will be ready. Then we can use that virtual switch to connect to our network. So yeah, I forget to rename this switch. So I would like to make it as broad, and I would like to name it as external to identify external, and SW is nothing but the switch, broad external switch. Okay, just click apply, click OK. So now our external switch is ready. So what you are waiting for, just connect a network to this machine and see. So you just need to go to a network adapter here. Here you will be able to see the virtual switch. Even you can see the default switch that will be available using, like when you install the Hyper-V role itself. Either way you can select. If you created the switch, this thing, you can select that. We haven't specified any VLAN ID, right, in the switch, so no need to select this. Just click apply. Okay, so yeah, now if you go to the VM, the network is connected. So let me give you the full screen. Yes, so now the network is connected. If you see the VM, so we haven't assigned any IP. By default that will be picking the IP. Okay, so let's see IP config. So this will show the IPs whatever is there. So by default that is taken the IP from my router. So 192.168.1.9 that is taken. So if you ping Google, now as it is an external switch, this should able to communicate. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, even yeah, Google, right? So it got missed. Yeah. Yes, guys. So the communication is working. So let's enable the RDP for this mission. In order to enable the RDP, just go to the properties of this PC. There you can see the remote desktop. Enable remote desktop. Okay. Once you click on this, yes, this VM can be now accessible from the outside. So let's see. Before that, I would like to see the firewall status. In order to open the firewall, you can use the wf.msc, or else you can also use the control panel, go to firewall. Okay, either way you can do that. So you can see the firewall is in on state. So I don't require a firewall at this point of time. I'm just turning off all the firewalls. So if the domain level firewall will be domain purpose. Public firewall, if you enable this, the external firewall would be enabled, so that you won't be able to communicate from the outside. Okay, so let's see what's my IP now on the VM. You can use IP config. So from this, I can able to take the RDP of this mission. So currently I'm on the base mission, MSTSC, and give the IP. What is the IP? 192.168 and 1.9. Yes, so here we got. So let me give the password. So once you enter the user ID and password, and your VM is ready, and you are able to connect it. Okay, if you want to double check, you just see the name of the mission. So we haven't specified any name for this, right? That's the reason the name is showing is the default, which is there while installing the operating system. If you see the console level, this is the name. The same name will be displayed there. Okay, just click on S. This screen will be came here. Yes, now we have taken the remote desktop connection for this console, this virtual machine. Okay, that's it, guys. Let's see. I would like to promote this particular virtual machine into a domain controller, and we'll be installing few more client missions, and we'll do the tutorials how the Active Directory is going to function. Okay. Hope you guys like my videos, so please do subscribe and share it with your. Please do subscribe and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching.